Guten Tag, how you doing, Hamburg? We are Motörhead, and we're gonna kick your ass. So Lemmy opens this live album, Motörhead's 6th live album, recorded in May '98, but released about a year later. Yeah, this one just completely. They wanted there was demand for a live album with what was to be the last lineup of Motörhead, but for a relatively long time. With the Lemmy, Phil Campbell and Mickey D. Wurzel having left a few years before, three or so years before, so they wanted a new live album. And Lemmy said he chose to do it in Germany because he said he chose to do it in Germany because Germany had always been such a strong base for Motörhead. So as Lemmy put it, said it was that they rescued our arse when we were going down for the 3rd time, and there was no demand. It seems. It's not Germany, it's not just Germany. He mentioned 2 countries, Germany and Japan, the country in which I'm making this video, for I live in Nagasaki. It's Germany and Japan. You could absolutely rely on them, I'm sad to say that England is. It seems to. Well, I know how fickle snotty the press was, for example, towards Motörhead. It seems like Germany or Japan, if they like you, they sort of stick with you. They're not so mercurial as, say, England, which just got really snotty to Motörhead. They couldn't tour there properly for a few years and all this sort of thing. And I remember from like some of the reviews for like Overnight Sensation and stuff, and seeing like that was like Q magazine did the snottiest review of Overnight Sensation. It was just pathetic, whilst completely fucking, I don't know, Coldplay or U2, they were just always on the front cover and up their arse. That horrible rubbish whiny crap. And also like the new musical papers like New Musical Express, which let me hate. I think they were the ones who called Motörhead the best worst band in the world when Motörhead were in 75 or 76. But also Melody Maker, they used to review their live shows, and it was just the wall of noise, and you can't differentiate anything. And they always just tried to paint them as being, they sort of settled on dismissing them as sort of Neanderthals, really. And they get Lemmy on shows, and they try to paint. Well, a few did all right, actually. They invited them on the Girly Show, a thing called Girly Show. I remember that. That was quite good, actually. They kind of, the presenter, I think Cox, I can't remember, something Cox, Sarah Cox. Actually, yeah, they had a good little chemistry, actually, and they brought on some of Lemmy's old girlfriends and all this sort of thing, so it was quite good. But other shows, like, they just tried to paint him as being a moron, and they did it in the press. So anyway, so Lemmy felt no particular, gratitude or whatever, or obligation to record this album in England. He chose it Germany, which is, super fans. Isn't that guy's covered in tattoos? Is he German? I think they call him Thomas or something. So he's German or Scandinavian. But anyway, but suffice to say, anyway, Germany, a great market for Motörhead. And so Lemmy, as he said, they chose to record that album. I don't know if Lemmy was always like, yeah, I knew all about it. And I don't know if someone just said to him, by the way, shall we record here now? And Lemmy went, okay. And then later on, it just happened to be in Germany. And Motörhead, and Lemmy said, yeah, we chose Germany. He was smart like that. Fast Eddie said nothing ever took Lemmy by surprise. Fast Eddie said when he came for the audition, it was obvious Lemmy wasn't even expecting him. Sort of Phil Taylor just sort of roped in Fast Eddie and got him down to the audition. But it was very quickly Lemmy just made out like he knew about it all along. So yeah, he's quick to turn things round and make it look like he was in on it and all this sort of thing. Anyway, I don't know where that's come from. It's just a slight feeling I have, but whatever it was, a great to Germany. It was definitely deserved to do a live album in Germany for the reasons already mentioned. Well, Lemmy said, what's it? Hamburg is a seafaring town, you know where you are for sailor. Well, I'll take his word for that. So yeah, anyway, it was the one with the lineup that's after Wurzel left, the 3 of them that were left and carried on till Lemmy's passing. And I mean, what an album! So Lemmy by then, what was he, 50, 52, 53? The others probably still in their 30s. And so powerful. Any detractors just knock them straight on their ass. I mean, this is where tracks like Iron Fist and stuff. I mean, obviously Motörhead's a live band, but bang, when they you know, Rambo, we're gonna kick your ass, and he's slamming to Iron Fist. It's whoa, like that. And I just had a little smile there because I remember this is a little. I'll keep this brief, but I still remember getting this album. I had some casual job helping, like a white van, we call him white van man in the UK. It's going out with this guy and delivering stuff, you know, an extra pair of hands basically in a map reader as it was back then, because you didn't have GPS, actual maps. Anyway, we stopped off at this weird like seaside town, get something to eat, and there's a record store. And I just happened to see they had the CD, Everything Loud and Everything Else. It's just been released, so March 99, I think it was. So, all right, okay, and I went in and I got it. Come back out, and the van driver, he was all right, but he was like, you know, proper London bloke. He was like, what you got there then? I said, oh, just CD, a banner like that. He looked and went, fucking hell, Motörhead. You know, oh, thank fuck I don't have a CD player in my van. You know, because it had a tape, you know, 1999. Yeah, I remember that. Anyway, but when I got home, my eager little mitts and put it on my little CD player. Yeah, Iron Fist, Stay Clean, the classic combination. And then they stuck in On Your Feet, On Your Knees from the Bastards album. What? I remember the liner notes Lemmy did for this album. He said they put this, what he said, tight little mugger of a song, I think they called it. He called it. And I mean, just the total control. It just motors along, the Lemmy goes, stop. And you just for that split second, it stops and you get a sort of the sound bounce around the walls of the Hamburg, wherever the docks, I think it is. Then go, and they go back into it. You know, just that absolute control over this incredible wall of sound. Again, and then over your shoulder, he does the, you know, Hamburg, Hamburg, you know, tonight we're making a live album. As it, so you have to make a lot of noise in case people think we're unpopular. Obviously, a little joke there about Motörheads, you know, the way they've risen and fallen over the years. And, you know, then over your shoulder, and well, not to be boring and repeat, but this is where these tracks really come out. Over Your Shoulder and Sacrifice, it's just a bit too. You know, this one is like really just, you know, so powerful, fast moving, energetic, and that, you know, when the mode of music changes, the walls around the city shake. Lemmy had these great, he could conjure up these great sort of visions of cities and stuff. And like I said, on some of these things, your Sacrifice, you imagine these great armies and stuff. He could really paint a picture of his lyrics. He was amazing. I mean, I can't go on about every track because I've done other videos about them, and you know, the albums from which these tracks have come from. And that Civil War, Burner, Metropolis. He said the same thing about Stay Clean. He said Metropolis, you know, he said this one's been in the set since 1459. You know, and then he said like time to retire it finally. Well, obviously they didn't. I mean, Metropolis and Stay Clean were right to the end. Very sadly, there's that gig when Lemmy was very sick. I think it's Austin or something, a city in the States. It's on YouTube. They managed 3 songs: Damage Case, Stay Clean, and Metropolis, and he has to quit. He said, "I'm sorry, I can't do this." And the love for from the audience, you know, 3 songs. He's obviously trying, and it's just awful to watch, and all that. But you know, he says, "I'm sorry." He comes off, and then he comes back and he's got his cane, and he says, "I just can't. You know, I love to play for you, but I can't do it. I'm about to pass out." And then was just going, "We love you, Lemmy. It's okay, man." Probably, you know, choke up, man. He tried so hard to right to the end. He really did. Nothing up my sleeve. I'm so bad, baby, I don't care. Chase but the catch. Take the blame. Yeah, take the blame off. Snakebite Love. No Class, which he dedicated. I remember he dedicated that one to the Wendy O. Williams from the Plasmatics. You know, the one he teamed up with. That's why. Well, one of the reasons why Fast Eddie Left did the version of Stand By Your Man of the Plasmatics, Wendy O. Williams, and she took her own life in '98, early '98, I think, or mid '98. Before it was only not long before they recorded this. Overnight Sensation, Sacrifice, Born to Raise Hell. I think he does that one with, is that the woman Nina something from Skiskin, which was that bandy like the German band. Are they German? Skiskin? I think so, yeah. Lost in his own wanting to be. Anyway, various songs, just looking for anything worthy of, well, they're all worthy of comment. Slowest version of Bomber. Really odd. Phil Campbell sounds like he's on, he's taken downers or something. we go into the Bomber, and of course the old Ace of Spades, and then the Overkill thing. And I remember the liner notes at the end of Overkill. He wrote, "Tell it on the this album." He did he wrote for each thing. He said, "Tell you what, they've all been classic lineups to me." And by this stage, I really like this album because it still showed Motörhead as being like, do not underestimate us. And the way I said before, not to go on about it, but being English and seeing how they were treated in like the English press and that, because you still didn't get that much stuff on the internet. And what you did, the fan clubs and that, they tended to be either like European or American. I mean, the Europeans would try to write it in English, but you could tell it wasn't their like native. Well, they still did bloody well, better than I do writing in a European language. But there seemed to be nothing from England, and it was, there was definitely sort of snobbery towards them, snottiness. But it just showed, it just did that as Motörhead always did. It showed them still being a powerful fucking force, and they keep it going. They still have a lot left in their tank, and it was just great to hear. And Lemmy said he said proudly overdubbed 3. I mean, it crashes in this album, but later on, like some like Phil Campbell's backing vocals that could have been removed or overdubbed. The brilliant guitarist Phil, but as a vocalist, yes. But hey ho, I don't know where I sit. Apparently Hammersmith had some overdubs, but then you get some classic live albums like Thin Lizzy's Live and Dangerous. Brian Dan always denies it, but some people say it's like almost 75% overdubs. It's what they say. That's why it's so perfect. It's got the energy underlying it of a live show. Anyway, that's a different band, different album. But this one was completely 100% no overdubs. And yeah, I mean, I don't know. It kind of, by then Motörhead, they were kind of bulletproof. Major bands like Metallica and that had paid homage to them. They'd weathered the shit of the late 80s, the record label problems, the court cases, the drummer scenario. They finally got Mickey D's to complete the powerhouse, and the lineup was stable, and by now they knew that they couldn't get dropped by a label or something. They might change labels. I can't even keep up with their thing, but they kind of had that. They were never going to see their glory days again revisited, basically. But they could keep. They were on a good path, and Lemmy had sort of assumed by now, definitely assumed that sort of, Lemmy is God. He'd already got that, but he's got a bit older and even more revered. But yeah, great album. Also, just had all the energy and the noise of a Motörhead concert, and I blasted it loud a lot in my early 20s, as I was then. Too long ago now.